welcome to the Recovery Life Podcast. This is a parking lot discussion where a few sober alcoholics will meet and talk about anything sobriety related, like we do in the parking lot at an in-person meeting. Today's topic is triggers. Triggers. No, I know some wise asses like to say a trigger is with Roy Rogers' horse. No, there are some real triggers for some people. So we're going to discuss are triggers real? What are they? What we can do about them. We're going to have everyone introduce themselves who's here. My name is John, and I am an alcoholic. Go ahead, Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy, and I am an alcoholic.
Right, Tasha, go ahead.
My name is Tasha, and I'm also an alcoholic.
Shannon, go ahead.
Jana, I'm an alcoholic.
Shannon and Regina, go ahead.
Regina, I'm an alcoholic.
Right. Your audio is not good right now, Regina. Might be in a bad spot.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Can you
Stephanie,
hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Stephanie D, are you there? Francis, are you there?
Hi, I am. My name is Frances, and I'm a grateful alcoholic and addict.
So again, what is a trigger? What we have Lee coming in the waiting room. Lee from Boston, Mass. So what is a trigger? I mean, what do you guys consider to be a trigger? Or what's your definition of a trigger? Go ahead, whoever wants to jump in, just jump in.
I think for me, a trigger is more of a time of day. The time of day when I used to pick up, when I used to drink, when I would look forward to having a drink. So it's definitely like I don't think about it in the morning, but when I'm getting off work, I'm coming home.
Now go ahead, finish up, Drake. That's all. Okay, you know, I call that the witching hour. For some people, it's around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but it could be in the morning, whatever time. Who else? What do you think a trigger is? What's your definition of a trigger?
For me, my definition of a trigger for me was more emotional state. So if I'm sad, if I'm lonely, or if I'm thinking about things I have no business thinking about, whether it's a past relationship, something like that. So basically, my triggers are mental, all in my head.
Melissa just joined us. Melissa in Texas. So again, who else wants to tell us what their definition of a trigger is? No, just chime in, Francis.
Okay. I looked it up on Google, and it says a trigger sometimes
No, stop, Francis. What is your definition of? Do you have any triggers? What is your definition of a trigger?
Sure. Yes, I do. They're more of surprise, negative feelings that I have, and my reactions versus my responses.
Yeah. So again, a trigger. What I call a trigger is something that would make you want to drink or think about drinking. That's what I call a trigger. Something that something, whether it's like Tracy said, a time of day. It can be a circumstance. It can be a smell that may trigger something, and just the thought of a drink. So I thank God that for me personally, I don't have any triggers that make me think about drinking or that make me want to drink. I thank God that the obsession has left me. But I know it is a real thing for some people, many people. I knew a guy who had over 30 years almost 40 years, and he did not go to baseball games because it was a trigger. I think he was a writer, a sports writer, so that setting with the hot dogs, the beer, and all that, that was a trigger for him. So he did not, over 30 plus years of sobriety, and he still did not go to baseball. So, uh, if you don't mind, tell us if you have any triggers right now. What's the biggest trigger for you? And tell us how long you've been sober. Just jump in. Who wants to go first? Does anyone here have any triggers?
Hi, my name's Alyssa. I'm an alcoholic. I've
Mhm.
been sober since September 18th of 2021. My biggest trigger today is going into public places with large amounts of people. Um, I have to, well, I'm still working on best practices, but I have to mentally prepare myself. I have to think about where I'm going. I do have to think about a worst case scenario and an escape plan. It's a work in progress. I'm able to go more places today by practicing those things. But it's not necessarily a trigger to drink, but it's a trigger for me to pull that those character defects come out, that isolation, that fear of there still is a fear there of other people because I can't control people, places, and things. And I've been in situations where I've seen the worst in those. And, so that for me today, that's my biggest trigger. So with that, I will pass the time.
We don't have a timer, but please keep your comments brief. We can get some. Well, you heard that. What is your trigger? Do you have a personal trigger or triggers? Something that Tracy, go ahead and expand on that trigger, Tracy.
So I think for me, I mean, I am 86 days sober today. It's the longest I've been, and I'm 60 years old. Well, maybe I did when I was like a youth, but what I do now is that 5 o'clock is no longer a trigger for me. I'm either on the 5 o'clock meeting or I'm extending my work day till 6 when I get on the women's meeting. I am putting my food and where I cook in a little bit of a different place than I used to. And so for me, that trigger is gone. But I will tell you, we are going tonight to a church gathering of church members. And I got a text and it says, everybody tell me what you drink. What do you drink? And it didn't trigger me. I didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm going to be going to this party where I'm drinking. And it starts at 6 o'clock, right? So that's a good thing. It doesn't mean I won't ever have it again, but right now I'm finding other things to occupy my time that remind me what is the point in drinking. It's not going to change anything in my day. So thank you.
Anybody else? Again, do you have a trigger? And A, what is your name, A? Put your name in the chat. Or yeah, does anyone have a trigger?
Well, let me say,
Go ahead, Richard.
well, let me say, for me, I would think that because this happened just recently, I would say a trigger for me would be my ex-spouse because of the verbal and the negative things and emotional abuse that I endured. And so when I find myself going over to the home and I'm in that setting, it triggers something in me and it makes me want to just fly back out the door because I'm like my mind is like it just goes this one place and I'm like, oh, I gotta go. And it's like a trigger. It's like it sets my mind in a way, in a direction that I have fought so hard over this past year to get away from. And so now the other thing I think is also the breaks when I'm not working, like when for me, I'm an extrovert. When and I found that when it's time for the holidays, when it's like spring break, or then it's like it changes my mindset. I get triggered well now, but it's changed over the year where I'm aware of that and I'm putting other things in place of it. So it's not as triggerous as it has been in the past. Let me just say that. But I know those are things that my mind just switches to some way, some other direction, and I have to catch it. Yeah.
Thank you, Regina. Anybody else? And that's it. Sometimes, so I don't have a trigger that makes me want to drink, but I have people who trigger a reaction in me, you know? Or uh, someone's behavior may trigger a response or a reaction in me as well. But I guess we're talking mostly about a trigger, something that makes you want to drink or takes you out of your spiritual conditioning. That or takes you out of your emotional sobriety. Go ahead, Monica.
Mhm.
Right now I'm on day 24 of sobriety. I would say that I don't have triggers. I really don't have the obsession, but I know what usually would trigger me to drink or use. And it would be emotional thing. Like I'm too angry as I'm feeling sad, trying to block out my feelings. So I made it a point to, I can't control people, places, and things, but I can change how I deal with people, places, and things. So I just made a new routine for myself, and I reward myself as I hit different milestones in my sobriety. So that makes me want to continue to stay sober. Yeah, people that piss me off, they used to piss me off and make me want to drink. I don't deal with those people. I don't isolate myself. I just deal with people who are like me, sober people, people at my church, my kids, and it's been working for me pretty well.
Thank you. Thank you, Monica. Shannon,
I was like an all the time drinker and user, so I really didn't need a reason to, it was just I felt like I couldn't do anything sober, so I had to find new things to do to occupy my time.
exactly. Shannon, did you want to share?
What triggers me is I just came out of a really toxic department in my job where the manager was, I don't even know, very toxic. And I got switched to another department. It seemed like she really triggered me a lot. And being in the new department, I'm a lot happier now. And it's like I'm not wanting to drink. So it was a lot of stressors in that position I was in. And that was a real trigger for me.
Understandable, absolutely. So anyone else? Jill, you want to come in, Jill? You're muted. Again,
Hi, I'm Jill, alcoholic from Indiana. My triggers, being in a restaurant that has a lot of booze, where even if I sit out away from the bar, if people around me are drinking, then that's a trigger for me. We mainly pick restaurants that don't have bars, or if I'm having a really good day and I think I can handle it. If I'm with another couple from, like, say, church or something that doesn't drink, then that makes it easier for me. So if we know we're going to go to another restaurant, we always invite another couple that we know that don't drink. So that's how I handle that one. So thank you.
Thank you, Jill. If you're new in sobriety, I would say if you're under a year, 2 years, check out the Living Sober book. You can access it online, but you want to get a copy for yourself. If you go to aa.org, it is only $6 to get a copy of Living Sober. It'll answer a lot of questions that you may have in early sobriety. And you want to keep it for yourself so that when you start sponsoring people and they have questions, you can refer to it. It's a great reference book, very easy read, a little over 100 pages, very easy.
It's in everything AA too.
Yeah, you can access, but I highly suggest that you buy a copy, have it so you can underline, highlight. Yeah. And you can get the apps on our website. Go to our Telegram and apps page, and you'll see where you can download everything AA. I am sober. Okay, so we're talking about triggers. Jasmine, did do you want to chime in? Do you have any triggers? Again, guys, this is not just for fellowship. I'm going to make it clear in the future that if you're not here to participate, then don't come. We don't want to be removed. Jill, go ahead, Jill.
Another, I just remember another trigger for me is when I have all of a sudden an extra hour in my day that say that was planned, but something happened and now that hour is free. That's a big trigger for me because I think I could head to the bar and and my husband's not gonna know because he's not expecting me home till such and such time. And I have to force myself to call him and say, hey, I'm leaving now because such and such didn't show up for tutoring or after school meeting and so I will be on my way home now. If I don't do that, by the time I get towards home, my steering wheel does not turn towards home. It heads straight to the bar because that was a big thing for me was the bar scene. I was almost addicted to the bar scene and to my friendly little hometown bar than almost the alcohol itself. So yes, that's a big trigger for me. And if I don't plan for it, if I don't take action for it, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be picking up that first sucker drink. So I had forgot about that earlier. So thank you for letting me come back in and share.
Thank you, Jill. Go ahead, Alyssa.
Thank you, John. Alyssa, recovered alcoholic. So another one of my triggers is and is when things are out of order, out of order the way that I want them, right? Like I have things in specific places and they're for my specific reasons. And if I'm not aligned with my higher power, my emotional sobriety becomes in jeopardy because the anxiety will kick in, the stress of the time, and that's that perfectionism. That's that character defect that I continue to work on a daily basis. But those things still trigger me. It's progress, not perfection. You know, even with my children, I can get triggered and out of alignment in my emotional sobriety if they aren't doing what they're being asked over and over again. But that's always that's when I need to remind myself that it's progress, not perfection. I don't think that I'm anywhere near picking up a drink today, but I do have to keep my emotional sobriety in check. And there's things that trigger that all the time. A lot less today than it was yesterday or a year ago. But yeah, that's something I need to be aware of, are those triggers, because if I don't address them when they do come up, then that will bring me that much closer to a drink. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Check out some of our previous podcasts. Right now, we're coming into the Bermuda Triangle, a dangerous time of year for alcoholics, people around the world, but definitely alcohol. Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas/New Year's. We have podcasts on how to deal with that. Check out our podcast on emotional sobriety, another podcast on relapse prevention. Because usually people don't relapse the same day they pick up it. They relapse days, weeks, sometimes months prior to that before they physically pick up that drink. So we're about to wind it up. Anybody want to comment on triggers? This Jasmine, Beth, Rebecca, Stephanie D. Again, I asked you to, what is your name? And you didn't respond. In the future, people will just be removed. We're going to run this back again tomorrow. We're going to run this back.
I don't know. For me, it's really in my early sobriety. It's what Queen Frances says: more meetings, more chances. Less few meetings, few chances. No meetings, no chances. That's really impactful for me. The Zoo Crew meetings have absolutely saved me in my sobriety for these 86 days, and that is amazing, amazing.
I'm sure you also have a sponsor, and you've started the steps too, right?
I'm on step 4.
Thank you, Tracy. I wanted to say, you know what keeps coming to my mind when you say triggers? It's like a switch on a wall. And you could turn it up or you could turn it down. And so and for me, in turning it up, it's like away from the trigger, and there's light that I have in this program. And when something happens that flip it down, I'm in darkness. But it's a switch. It can go up, it can go down, it can turn on, it can turn off. And that trigger that happens, it could be a variety of things that may cause it for different individuals based on, whatever trauma, whatever situations they've had to face and the things that they're dealing with. And the solution, though, to being able to manage, I'll say, that type of triggering effect is this program. It gives us the tools to be able, because I haven't been triggered as much because of the choices that I'm making, in which the direction that I'm going and the fluidity of it. But then in the times when something comes up all of a sudden, and then that thought comes, I could, and that trigger effect, and it's all in the mind where it takes place. Is just amazing that this program is available to stop that from happening, from going into the direction that triggers you.
Yeah.
That's all.
Amen.
See, you picked up the kids. Do you want to? We're about to wind it down, or wrap it up rather, on triggers. Melissa, Tasha, you want to come in? Do you have any triggers? See, for me, what triggers me is food. Melissa, turn off her video. I hit Tasha.
I thought she was coming in. So what triggers me, sometimes boredom, literally having nothing to do. So I have to keep myself busy. And some people, a lot of my friends, I moved up here when I got my DUI, so I didn't have any girlfriends here. So being on the phone with them as they're drinking, video chat, and they'd have their drink. I'm like, a whole bottle is legit gone, like entirely. And then I'm searching for more. So I've had to stay away from certain people just for now, because now when I call them, they've been drinking and it can trigger me. So I have to just keep away from those triggers and just come and talk to you guys. That's all I have on that.
No, absolutely. People, places, and things. It's no joke. It is a fact. It is reality. And early sobriety. No, but get a sponsor, take the steps, and give it a little time, and you know you'll have less triggers. I won't say you won't have any triggers, but you'll have less triggers.
Right.
Listen, did you want to chime in on triggers?
I'd say, and this is after years and years of like working the steps repeatedly, for me, what triggers me the most is anger. If I get really angry at somebody and I don't know how to handle that situation, the bad side of me comes out. And then if I'm trying to repress that because I don't want to go to jail, I don't want to do something stupid, well, then I'm just going to hurt myself. If I can't hurt them, then I'm going to hurt me. And what's the best way to hurt myself is to make bad choices to take me out of that. And I think that's my, I was listening and I was like, I don't got no triggers. People can do whatever they want in front of me. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole ever again. I say that, God willing, but it's anger for me. Anger is my trigger.
Yeah, I feel like, Melissa, I had to keep my radar up and not get comfortable and think that won't be triggered. I haven't been, I think it's because I've been coming back to this place here that has been putting the limitations on the experiences or people, places, and things that may drive me or find my place in a situation where a trigger may occur. So my making choices to alleviate the people, places, and things that may cause a trigger to happen has helped me. But believe me, they're doing exercise out there. I'm not going to never think that I'm good. Because
I have a knucklehead son who's a trigger for me.
Food and see what I mean?
Love him to
Life.
death.
Life.
Love them, but don't always like them.
There you go.
I can't stand them a lot of times. Jenny, aka Jessica, do you have any triggers, Jenny?
I do actually. I have one trigger that I have yet to deal with, and I feel that if I can get myself away from this trigger, that I will have more peace of mind. My trigger is my boss. My boss is a narcissistic asshole that has no problem making people cry and doesn't feel sorry about it, nor does he apologize. And on my 90 days this week, he berated me so bad that I nearly lost my mind. And if had it not been for this program and step 10 and 11, I would have run out of here and drank. I was right on the edge, but I knew without this program, I would have lost my shit. So I was so thankful for AA, let's just say.
But unless your boss is the owner, that person has a boss also. And
he's the
HR.
owner.
Okay,
he's the fucking owner.
Yeah. Then that's a sticky situation.
Jenny, tell me where he's at. Tell me where he parks his car at. We got this, Jenny. I got your back all day.
Make sure you have bail money. Make sure you have bail money.
Jenny's got my back. It's all good.
Yeah, you kick his ass, I'll bail you out.
Come pick me up on the way.
I might not fight him, but let me tell you, I got some keys. Just show me which car is his. It's done.
I love you.
The views expressed are not those of the Zoo Crew or myself,
Yeah, John, can I just share this one more thing? I said that I wasn't speaking. I'm on a silence fast. But I've been talking to today. I haven't been speaking very much this month, and I'm going to continue to do so. But I wanted to say something that you said that really triggered me. Was that family? My family can really they get some triggers too. You say your son. I had an experience this week that my brothers and my brothers, really, they really almost, I mean, I didn't, because when it happens, it's like you don't see it coming. And then it's like, what just happened? Everything was going so well. And then out the blue, it's just like, and that's where I was. I was like, oh my goodness, it's this. I was so upset, so upset. I couldn't even believe how upset I was because I hadn't been upset. And it made me feel like, I could but I managed because I had here to come to.
Well, like
Okay,
I
I'm
said, I
going
don't.
back to my silent fast now.
When we first met Alyssa, she said 3 years ago today when we first met her, she said her sponsor, suggested that she not share, but at every morning meeting she was reading the daily reflection. That's a long time ago, 3 years. So on the opposite side of the coin, uh, there could be some good triggers. A song could elicit a good emotion, or maybe a sad emotion. Yeah, so so I guess not all triggers are bad. A smell could trigger a memory, good memory. But yeah, so it's life. It's how we deal with it. And you guys mentioned this program and the steps in your higher power have already started helping you. And, it'll get better. Time and the steps. Right. So anything else before we close it up? And again, we're gonna run this tomorrow at the same time, 2:30 tomorrow. And we're gonna run it back. Maybe you think of something different. We'll get some other people in here, I'm sure.
I just wanted to share that in my experience, gratitude, I didn't mean to, but my son was complaining. He's 8.5 years old now, but he was complaining about something, and he has nothing to complain about. And it was right when I had gotten home, and I asked him to identify 3 things in that moment that he was grateful for, or blessings that he has that not many do. And it changes your frame of mind. And I've used that as a mechanism. Thank you.
Fantastic. These are disease of perception. Yeah. Change the way you look at things, and things you look at change. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So if nothing else, then I think we're good.
Thanks, John.
Thank you for this meeting.
Thanks, John.
We didn't open with the serenity prayer, but let's close with the serenity.
Yay.
Who helps us deal with triggers and stress? Knucklehead family members. Our Father.
God.
I'm sorry.
God,
Serenity prayer. God.
Grant me the
Give me
serenity
serenity
to
to
accept
accept
the
the things I cannot change.
Serenity.
Courage to change the
change
things
the
I
things
can.
I can,
and the
and the
wisdom
wisdom
I
to
know,
know the
and
difference.
wisdom to know the difference.
coming
That
back.
Love y'all.
Thanks, God.